In this video, I want to talk about the short trade that I took from right up here. I actually entered this short live while I was recording yesterday's video. If you watched that video, you saw me enter this trade. And basically, I want to go over this because I feel like I managed this very well. I took the CDW short from right up there. I TP'd right down here. From there, I reduced my risk. I moved my stop loss a little bit down. But then I added to this short right up here. I TP'd along the way when we got this move down. And then I added to my short one more time right there, putting my average entry above this golden pocket still. So I took what was originally just a little scalp trade, and I managed to lock in a good amount of profits with this and then add to my position when I thought we were going to see further downside. And so now I have a little bit more profits locked in than I would have, and I have a bit of a heftier position than I would have. So I'll be going over the signals that I saw to enter this trade, as well as the signals that I saw to add to my position. I had this wick marked out over here, and I set an alert there, so when price came up, took out that wick. I could check market Cipher quickly, because with CDW trades you have to be quick, and if you watch my video, you can see I got the alert, and by the time I was actually able to check the price action, we had already gotten a pretty significant move to the downside. And we did get divergences here. You can see on the 6-minute, we got the divs with money flow and momentum. If you go down to the lower time frames, you can see we got divs all across those. Here on the 3-minute, we even got local divs as we approach that high. And then when you come down to the 1-minute, you can see we got the very clear divs, local divs, along with regional ones with money flow and momentum. And we got the single candle wick above that level. No body closes above this high, just a wick above it. And yeah, that was basically the perfect CDW confirmations. That is exactly what you want to look for. I believe we also had some slightly higher term divs. Let me check. So yeah, even on the 24-minute here, you can see the divergence with momentum and money flow there. All across the board, market Cipher was diverging as we took out that high. We got the candlestick confirmations, pretty much everything we could want to see. And I don't remember exactly where my original entry was, but I believe it was somewhere on this little wick back to the upside, because I did TP on this move down after about like a 0.45% move. And from there, I did move my stop loss down a little bit, but I still maintained some risk with this. I wanted to keep my stop loss above this last high, this high that we CDW'd, and the 786. So I still maintained a little bit of risk with that, but by TPing, by getting a little bit of profit locked in, and at least moving my stop loss down a little bit, I reduced my risk. And then we got this little retracement back to the upside, and you see we got a perfect rejection off the golden pocket there. But then we came up and made a higher high, and I actually added a little bit into my short at both of those retracements there. And if I go over to coinalyze.net, you can see why. So I know it's tough to see on the phone because it's such a small screen. Oh, I actually zoomed in a little bit there. That kind of helps. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But yeah, if you go to coinalyze.net, and I'm actually going to have to go to the lower time frames first, we actually saw a lot of bearish absorption during this whole move down, which in general is the reason why I kept adding to my short, because we kept seeing the absorption. But this is the CDW that I shorted, and then this is the golden pocket retracement, and then that slightly higher high. So you can see with both of these retracements, price made a lower high right here first, and we saw the CVD and the open interest getting higher during that time, showing absorption, showing that people were longing, yet the price was making a lower high. And then we saw it again when we made this higher high here. We still saw the absorption from this wick. The absorption continued, and we still didn't make a higher high in price action yet, which would have invalidated the absorption. Basically, the reason I added to my position there was because we saw the absorption, and it was pretty clear. Sometimes you see very slight absorption where like maybe CVD came up but then had a spike down and then came back up and made a slightly higher high, forming slight absorption. That usually gives me less confidence than if we just kind of see this, a clear uptrend in the CVD and in the open interest. This is more clear absorption for sure, and that was basically the reason I added to my short at that golden pocket retest. And then fast forward a little bit, we got this large drop to the downside. I TP'd a good amount for my short. But when we started getting this little retrace to the upside, first we got this weird wick right here, which, these random wicks aren't always super reliable, I guess you could say, for a high. And I'll explain a bit more later, because I did see some absorption right here when we made this lower high. But I did add more to my short right up here, and the reason being, if we go back to Coinalyze and I go to the higher time frame, we were actually seeing the absorption continue regionally here as we continued making lower highs. So this is my entry up here. From there we saw the CVD continue to increase, and the open interest definitely continued to increase, and price continued making lower highs. So basically I saw the continued absorption there that made me interested in adding to my position again. And another thing I saw, if you zoom in a little bit, is some absorption from that one wick I was talking about. We made this a lower high. We also saw the CVD and open interest increasing. Mainly, I was relying on the larger term time frame absorption, the more regional, but that local one also gave me a little bit more confidence to add to my short there. And we did come up and make, another higher high from that, but my entry was still way up here somewhere. Let me actually go back to the regular chart. So at that point, once I added to my short here, my new entry was 23,164. So right there above the golden pocket. And I actually kept my stop loss above the 786 and above these highs back here, because I did have a decent amount of profits locked in already, so I could afford to set my stop loss a little higher, because even if I get stopped out there, it should still be a net win. But overall, both of those times where we saw the absorption led to further downside. And, overall, this was a really great trade. I'm not sure how much we came down from those highs. It's about 4% now, so that's a great trade. And it's really the fact that I was able to manage this trade that well that made this such a good trade. Oftentimes I will look for golden pocket retests and absorption as an entry signal. If I miss the original entry, like if I missed this CDW, I would look to possibly re-enter on a golden pocket retest with the absorption. But it's not often that I add to a trade once I see that, just because you have to factor in the new risk that you're taking on, the fact that your entry is going to be a bit lower, and you're going to have to manage your risk based on that. And in general, I like to try and limit my risk with my trades quickly. I would prefer if I could just lock in a trade quickly, move my stop loss to entry, and then have a guaranteed winner. But with this one, I was just confident enough to add to my position multiple times, and it ended up working out for me. And honestly, there is the potential for this to be a significant top here. We've now sort of started a downtrend here. We made, lower highs and lower lows, with some pretty bearish signs at these highs. So, we could potentially be in for more downside here. I think this golden pocket around these a interesting target. I'll be watching that. And, other than that, who knows how far down we could come. This was a very quick move to the upside. So, potentially we could see a violent retrace here. But if not, I still got a good amount of profits locked in for this trade already. And, if we just end up bouncing off this 382 and making higher highs, it was still a good trade.